Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're here to cut through the noise and give you, well, the essential intelligence you need.
That's right.
Today, we're zeroing in on something pretty interesting: market research operations, specifically expansion opportunities in Cambodia. We've got a stack of sources here focusing quite a bit on a company called MRTS Consulting Ltd.
Okay.
And the mission really is to figure out how businesses can actually thrive there. It seems complex, fast-moving. How do you really understand the consumers?
Yeah, and our goal for you listening is to boil that down into knowledge you can actually use. It's about showing why these deep, specialized market insights are so critical. They really can change the game for success rates, especially in these dynamic new markets.
Okay, let's unpack Cambodia then. Why is it catching the eye?
Right.
The sources suggest it's, well, more than just growth. It's this combination, this mix of a cost-effective workforce that also gets the culture. So you're not just getting, say, field teams or researchers cheaply. You're getting people who understand the local nuances, which, helps avoid those big misinterpretations that can cost a fortune.
That's a really key point. Misreading the consumer is a classic pitfall.
Definitely. And then there's the growth itself. It's rapid. We're seeing expansion in sectors like retail, finance, telecoms, and FMCG, fast-moving consumer goods.
Right, the everyday stuff. Drinks, toiletries.
Yeah, exactly. Which tells you something about spending power. Plus, its location, smack in the middle of ASEAN.
A strategic hub.
Making it a magnet for foreign investment, sort of a springboard into the whole region.
Yeah, these factors definitely paint a compelling picture. But, potential doesn't automatically mean profit, right?
Good point.
Turning that economic buzz into actual strategy, that takes real local expertise.
Yeah.
And that's where our sources keep pointing towards firms like, MRTS Consulting.
Okay.
They're flagged as Cambodia's leading market research and strategy firm. Almost 20 years in the game.
Wow, that's significant experience.
It is. And they've built this reputation for accurate data and genuinely actionable insights. And what's really interesting is how they balance things. They provide that deep local know-how, but stick to global standards.
Quality control is key.
Absolutely. It's not just speaking the language, it's understanding the cultural psychology behind consumer behavior. That's why big multinational brands seem to trust them for high-quality fieldwork and strategic advice. You get data you can actually rely on.
That local understanding sounds absolutely vital. But thinking about someone listening who's considering this, what are the tricky parts? Like ensuring data quality or reaching everyone, even with a good local partner?
That's a fair question.
And how does MRTS tackle those challenges? Our sources get into their methods. They mention a proprietary online panel, for instance, with double opt-in verification.
Which is crucial. Helps weed out fraud, ensures you're talking to real, engaged people, a big issue sometimes in emerging markets.
Right. And they also use local surveys, which makes sense for reaching maybe areas with less internet access. Exactly. Gets you broader reach.
Plus traditional offline fieldwork, too. So a blended approach.
Covers all the bases.
And it goes beyond just collecting data. Full service, from programming surveys to things like mystery shopping.
Yeah, seeing the customer experience firsthand.
And IHUT studies, those in-home usage tests, which must give you a much realer sense of how people actually use a product.
Right. Outside of a controlled lab setting. They even do investment feasibility studies.
It seems pretty comprehensive. Their core services listed are quantitative and qualitative research, the online panel and mobile data, startup consulting, investment advisory, market entry help, and competitive intelligence, social listening.
That last one. So they're not just asking questions. They're listening to online chatter, social media, keeping tabs on competitors.
Precisely. Gives you that real-time pulse of the market beyond just surveys.
Okay.
So if you tie all that together, what you're looking at is basically an end-to-end solution for almost any strategy you might have for Cambodia.
Market entry, product launch, scaling up.
Exactly. MRTS seems positioned to provide that support. The sources highlight their team is responsive, experienced, and importantly, based right there in Phnom Penh, committed to getting things done on time, which matters in a fast market.
So recapping, Cambodia looks compelling. Economic momentum, strategic location, skilled workforce, a real hub for market research.
Definitely has the potential.
And we've seen how a firm like MRTS Consulting offers this really deep, specialized support. Seems like a crucial partner for anyone serious about succeeding there.
Which leads us to a final thought, really, a question for you to chew on.
Okay.
How does using this kind of truly localized, in-depth market research, the sort MRTS offers, how does that fundamentally change the game? How does it shift the perceived risks and, maybe more importantly, the actual success rates for businesses jumping into these dynamic, fast-growing markets like Cambodia? Something to think about.